Well, welcome to the Richard Urban Show. Thank you for being out there watching the show, and I appreciate it, of course, and I'm glad to be here. This is something a little different. I'm going to show you some film about Cook Pond. A few weeks ago, I was out on Cook Pond with Paul Solomon. Paul Solomon, as you remember, was the veterans agent here in the city of Fall River for a long time. And I happened to meet Paul at a coffee shop. I mentioned to him that I was looking for someone that had a boat, that I wanted to go on Cook Pond and film. I've filmed Cook Pond many times before. We've filmed from the shore, and I've done some other film of the pond. The trustees of reservations when they were cutting a pathway, and various other things that I've done as far as film there to show on this program, my program, the Richard Urban Show. The boat trip was successful as far as I'm concerned. Paul came down from Westport with his boat. We took it off the trailer and, of course, launched it. Paul has a small motor which is basically electronically run. It's run off a battery. And we were able to basically circumvent or go around the shoreline of the pond and film some interesting scenes. Cook Pond, as you know, has been there for a long time, of course, and well, it's deteriorated some over the years. The watershed has been obviously destroyed. Some of the wetlands, etc., were used as a dump for the city of Fall River. And then, of course, the shopping center was built, and Harbor Mall was built, and various roads put in, and some houses, etc. Well, that took away from the natural feeding of the pond. So the pond is somewhat choked. It doesn't get that flushing that it needs on a regular basis, especially after a good rain. And the runoff is very slow. When I say by runoff, there was a stream that it's still there, but it's not as vigorous as it used to be. And that flows under Dwelly Street, and it goes down underground, under Chew Field, Father Kelly Park. It actually crosses South Main Street and Broadway, goes into or goes along the old Ukrainian Club. Once you could see it there, but that's been covered over. And eventually it did drain, and probably still does, but somewhat of a trickle into the bay. But the pond is, it's a big pond, and we're going to be showing some film of that trip. This is going to be part one. Part one will be aired, and then there'll be another show, part two, but that won't be shown until next week. Now remember, this show that I have is always on air on a Thursday night at 6:30, Channel 95. And that's the cable connection that if you have cable TV, you can go to Channel 95 on a Thursday night and see my show. That's at 6:30. Also, you can watch it if you have a computer. So if you have a computer, you can go into the site here at Bristol Community College, and you can view the film. So let's get started. There is some narration to the film, and I probably will add a little more. So let's get the film started, and let's see what we have.
Tiverton, four corners like Tiverton.
Okay, here we are on the shore of Cook Pond. This is the bottom of Henry Street. And shortly we're going to go on to the pond. And I have Paul Solomon, who has a boat. Paul Solomon was the veterans agent a while ago here in Fall River. You know, watching the Richard Urban show. There's the boat.
White
Gonna
perch and yellow perch.
board that in a few moments.
Yeah, I don't see those anymore. But
There's
small-
Paul. Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day to be in Fall River on the water.
And you have someone who is gonna go fishing. What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Yep.
You been catching anything here, Ashley?
Not just yet. It's my first time.
Oh, good for you.
And she made the trip all the way from Somerset.
Well, good for you.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a good sized fish.
All right, here we are on the pond. And you can see the shoreline here. As you can see, the boat was a little rocky, and occasionally there was some interference, but basically the film has come out rather good as far as I'm concerned. I was at the front of the boat, bouncing along in the water, trying to hold the camera steady. How you doing? Your father was looking for you. Why don't we go down into that? This looks like a little cove over there. Maybe we could go into there.
I just don't know the area. I don't want to be hitting rocks and bottoming out. Just hit bottom there. I'm hitting bottom with the motors. It's too shallow with the motor down. Could have just came in there with just the oars. It would have been better. I could have left it right against the wall. The ends here.
Well, here we are. This is the south side of the pond. And you can see things are really growing in now. This is almost June. Next Monday will be Memorial Day. We'll have a ceremony at the Miller Monument. Looks like a pathway over there into the pond.
Paths down from Silver Creek to south.
It looks as though the water is moving, but that's actually us in a boat traveling through the water.
I think an important message is if kids come out here on boats, they should have a life jacket like this one.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Should definitely have a life jacket. We're adults, but we got our life jackets with us. We're not that great of swimmers, and if you fall overboard here, it's pretty mucky on the bottom, and you might not make it back out. When I was younger, a lot of youngsters died in this pond. So if you're going to come here to enjoy it, make sure you wear a life jacket. Thank you.
Good advice. Good advice, Paul.
This is a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, this is, and it's a big pond. We just started out. This is a big pond. That's the wind blowing. Camera's not protected, so you hear the wind. A lot of heavy growth along some of the shoreline. This is late afternoon. Must be about 6 o'clock now. No mosquitoes yet. Well, that's Fish Road over there. Fish Road. Yeah. How do you clean up the algae?
I'm not sure. I know that the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff like that, they can call in and they have a way of cleaning that house out. Different chemicals.
Yeah, it is pretty green.
And then what happens, that ends up killing the pond off, and then all the fish and stuff die.
Now that looks like a wall over there, see it? Yeah, that, maybe when they built the road, they added some stones over there.
Washing into the road.
We're approaching where Bone Mill used to be now. It's apartments. Probably get a glimpse of that shortly. Well, it's been quite a few years now.
I've never been in the pond on a boat. Always fished off the shore and stuff. This water up would be a beautiful thing.
Now that's the boat bouncing up and down. It wasn't easy to hold the camera steady, obviously. It was awkward sitting in the front of the boat. I had to adjust myself a number of times. Now, how many horse do you have?
It doesn't go by horse. It's pounds of 12. 15 pound horses. The other boat was about 40 on the water.
Here we are.
Go back to Canada. A lot of fish. I see a lot of jumping in here.
This is the, once again, the south side, and you can see over there the old Bowen Mill in the background. In front of us are the geese. They don't seem to be too worried. Swimming away a little, but that's it. Got some rocks over there, Paul. See them sticking up? It looks like almost a row of them. Maybe there was some kind of structure. Maybe that's how they get their water power. We got a rock coming up in front of us. Yeah, if you use a boat out there, you have to be careful. You gotta watch for the rocks. Most of the boat is fishermen stay somewhat in the middle of the pond. Looks like the seagulls like that rock.
I can't believe how beautiful this could be if they spend a few dollars. Beautiful.
Well, there's a structure over there. Imagine if that was a little coffee shop, ice cream.
Oh, yeah. Turn that into a bed and breakfast. Breakfast, anyway. Probably beautiful when I see that.
One proposal for the pond is a walking path around the pond. It was started, but it doesn't seem that much has been done since, and that was about a year or so ago. Some ducks over there in the distance. And remember, Friends of Cook Pond is willing to sponsor a fishing expedition. We could give out some cash prizes, so any club interested, contact one of us. All right, if you're looking through the woods, you can see Shove Street. Well, that's a good question. It could be. Yeah, I think we're, I guess that's the, maybe that's the back of it?
Yeah, that was what they took the house back there.
On this side of the pond, it got a little rougher. You can see we're sort of bouncing along now. That noise is the... It's nicer over here. It's not as green.
Green over here than on that side.
I wonder why that is. And the water's much clearer on this side.
They had a house in the back of it. Maybe that belongs to them.
That sound is the water lapping at the bottom of the boat. Yeah, this is beautiful. We're going to come to the end of this film shortly, and we're going to put another one in. Actually, it's a continuation of this one, but we have to switch the DVDs. This is part one, and there will be another film that hopefully will be shown next week. That's the back of the King Philip Mill. You can see the stack over there. Well, this is something over here.
We're doing something.
Back of one of the mills. Well, that was part one, and we're going to have another film that'll show part two. Now remember that in the boat it was not easy to hold the camera steady. The boat is moving up and down, and that causes, of course, the camera to move. The other thing is, even if it was in a fixed position, it would still bounce up and down. The whole idea, of course, is to get people interested in the pond. And what do I mean by getting interested in the pond? Well, going down there, as you see, the young lady from Somerset, first time she went down there to fish, and there was a young man on the shore. He's apparently an avid fisherman. He's gone down there a number of times. And where the old Matt Cuss boat ramp used to be, now it's, you know, it's been, basically it's destroyed, deteriorated over the years. That was also a place where we saw some fishermen fishing off the remnants, the remains of the boat ramp. And there was another person, I don't know, I think that'll come up in the second segment of the film. He actually had waders on. He had walked right into the water. He was, looked like he was up to his hips at least, doing some fishing. Yeah, the fish are caught there. There's no doubt about it. Most of the time, the fishermen return the fish to the pond. What we'd like to see is some sort of a cleanup of the pond. What I say by cleanup, there is algae in the water, and I'm not sure of how you know, it would be going about as far as cleaning up the pond, getting some of that algae out of there. I guess some sort of a treatment would have to be done of the water to kill off the algae. The algae does get, well, it gets more prominent as the hot weather comes on, and of course, when in the wintertime you see very little of it. The water is not clear; it's dark. As Paul advised, if you're going to be out there, you've got to bring a life vest. And if you have a cell phone, there's no doubt about that. You should have a cell phone and hopefully in contact with someone. You never know what could happen, and if you did fall into the water and you can't swim that good, there could be a tragic accident that would take place. You just need to have a life vest, and of course, if you have children, you've got to be very cautious if you have children on a boat. But there are boaters out there. There are a lot of people over time that have gone on the pond, and we'd like to see the pond used more. We'd like to see it cleaned up on a periodic basis, and of course, that's really up to the city of Fall River. The city of Fall River owns that pond, but the land around the pond, most of the land around the pond is in private hands, except for the north side where Dwelly Street is and where the wall is, that obviously is city-owned. There is access to the pond at the bottom of Henry Street. There's a boat ramp. There's actually a place where you can launch a boat. It's a concrete piece that goes right into the water, so a lot of the owners of boats will get down there with their vehicles and a trailer and a boat and launch the boat. There's been a major problem at the bottom of Henry Street. That's where the parking lot is when it comes to trash being thrown there. Now, recently, someone went down there after a cleanup. The city had a cleanup down there. I was there with a number of people down at the bottom of Henry Street, and we cleaned up a lot of trash, which was put into bags, etc., and the city picked it up. Well, about a week or so later, someone in a truck went down there with asphalt shingles, of all things, a huge amount of asphalt shingles. And it's incredible what some people do. However, the person was spotted, and the police were notified, and the person was apprehended. dumping asphalt shingles at the bottom of Henry Street. And he was cited, 2 citations. It was in a newspaper. Each one was $300. Well deserved. No one should be going down there with asphalt shingles or anything else. If you bring stuff down there, you're going to have some drinks, something to eat, take it back. It's only a small amount. Just take it back. Put it in your truck, put it in your car, whatever you need to do, because what happens is that many people go down there, and if there's a can here or a carton there, eventually the place gets to be pretty littered. And some of the things we pulled out of there were used tires, wood. There was some communications equipment that was dumped there. And what we're urging is that if people see anyone dumping, get the license plate number. You don't need to try to play policeman on the spot. But if you notice someone dumping things, get the license plate number and call the police department. The police will trace the license plate number and, well, you know, make a phone call to the person and say, look, why don't you go down and take that stuff out of there, clean it up. And if that type of activity gets out to the general public, there won't be any of that dumping. So we're going to conclude this segment of the film, which is, like I mentioned before, part 1, and we're going to be doing a part 2 of the film of Cook Pond. So this will be shown this week, and the other one most likely next week, but periodically these films will be aired over Channel 95 here at Bristol Community College. So thank you for watching, and hope you watch the next one.